Hey everybody, I'm live here, so just waiting for some people to show up. Hope you can all see my screen and it looks okay. Yeah, so I'm Matt Rittman, and a lot of people probably know me from the AK-47 animation I did. Yeah, so here it is. I spent quite a while on this one. I would say probably 500 hours total, because I had to go through and actually model each piece and go through and create the materials for all the pieces, just making sure the metal looks correct and all that good stuff, and just all the research that went into it, because I'm not really a gun guy myself. I don't own any guns or anything like that. Yeah, so just a lot of research went into it and knowing how this works, because I had absolutely no idea when I first began the project. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's just crazy how many views it's gotten. Like, I would have never thought it would have hit that many views, but apparently a lot of people like it, so that's pretty neat. Anyway, so my next animation I'm working on is a Glock 19, and so this is what it looks like. I actually bought the model on TurboSquid initially, and so I had to convert all the materials. As I used Cinema 4D, it originally came as a 3ds Max model, so I had to convert everything over and just get it looking good in the render engine that I use, which is Corona. So anyway, that's what it will look like in the end. But since I bought this on TurboSquid, none of the interior was modeled, so I'm having to go through and just kind of make sure everything lines up properly, and that's taken a ton of work. Let's see here. So here's the Glock 3D animation in Cinema 4D. Let's see here. So I'm just gonna go through and show you what the interior looks like and kind of what I have to go through in order to get this looking and working properly when I go to animate it. So here's the slide. I'm gonna go and hide this. And hide the barrel. So I didn't do any of this initially. This is the model that I bought on TurboSquid, and doing more research about this, really nothing in here is correct. I mean, certain things are in the right locations, but like the trigger bar, none of this lines up how an actual Glock would look like in an interior. So, you know, you have a lot of pieces intersecting here and things like that. There's no bullets in here, just the one. So, as you can imagine, it's a lot of work to actually get it, you know, to spec, so to speak. So I'm gonna load up the model that I have currently where I'm at with the Glock, and then I'll kind of show you the controls that I've set up. Let's see. Alright, so here's my slide, and the interior looks like this. And these are all just color coded, just so I know what it looks like, or like initially before I even hit render. So let's just see here, what should I show? Alright, so let's just get my X-ray up here. And I apologize if I'm super boring. This is my first stream ever, so yeah, that's just gonna have to be how it goes. So Okay, so I've just put an X-ray so you can see the interior of the gun. This is the frame. And so I've got these controls that I set up as a simple rig just to, it just makes it a lot easier when I go to animate things. You only have to animate a couple sliders compared, as opposed to like a whole bunch of different parts. So like for example, when I move the trigger rotation, this all kind of moves together, as you can see there. I'm going to turn off my smoothing here on that piece. So I had to go through and actually like set up how when the trigger bar moves, it pushes up the firing pin safety. And that just took, you know, a lot of work. And I had to go through and make sure, you know, each little piece of geometry is in the right location. Because if something's off even just a little bit, you know, it's not going to push this up right. Just like that. Then back here, you know, this has to move. Then when it touches this, what's this piece? The connector, it has to rotate down slightly. So it just took a ton of tweaking to get all this right. And then this, the firing pin is actually on a different slider, so it just moves back and forth. Let me just hide the sleeve here. So when you move the firing pin, the spring actually compresses, so I don't have to animate that as a whole separate piece. So yeah, that just makes it a lot easier. Let's see what else here. Where's my slide? And then I have the entire slide set up on its own slider, so the entire thing just rotates back. So yeah. What else should I show you? If I could do So actually right now I'm working on the barrel assembly, and it's a lot of work because I'm having to use reference images, because the initial model that I got on Turbo Squid, it didn't have all the little details for the interior, like these little grooves here. I mean, it has them, but you know, it's not in the right location. But you know, it's meant for, the model that I purchased was just meant for like an exterior kind of model, just to show in certain publications and things like that. And since I'm showing all the inner workings, I have to make sure everything's to spec and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Let's see, the trigger. Gonna show. Oh yeah, I even set this little spring back here actually moves back too. So yeah, that was fun to set up actually. And in Cinema 4D, everything's driven through Espresso, it's called. This is Cinema 4D, if anyone's wondering what software this is. It is a software by Maxon. They're based out of Germany, but I've been using this software for probably 15 years now. I learned it in school, and so yeah, I just been messing with it since. It's just extremely powerful, and it's very well known for its MoGraph features. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff there. But yeah. What else should I show you guys? I guess I could show you, yeah, just kind of where I'm at with the barrel and how I'm modeling that. So I use references. For example, this image I just basically found on Google. This is a side view of the barrel. So that's kind of how what I use to get everything as proportionate as I can. nothing's like exact. A lot of people think that like I you know, put in actual numbers like a CAD program, you would do that, but no, I didn't do anything like that. So it's just everything's based off reference images. I guess I could show you another piece of software that I used. Let's see here. I don't know if anyone's familiar with software called World of Guns. It's actually a video game. Here, I'll load it up here. Just give me one moment. This really helped a ton as far as doing research, how a Glock works and how the AK-47 works. Okay, so this is, let me just make it easier to see. This is World of Guns, and it has a whole bunch of different guns that you can actually like go into and see how they work. I'm trying to find my the AK-47. So it has the AK-47, which I used a lot to just see how it worked. But the Glock is up here. So it has a Glock 19, and this is a Gen 3 model, if anyone's familiar with that. But you can just go into game here. So basically what you can do is you can actually fire it. Here, one second. It's not. Let me actually go back. Operation. Okay. Okay, so it allows you to fire it, and you can hide certain parts, and you can slow things down. So for example, they have an X-ray button here. I can click that, and it shows different views of different parts. And what's really cool is like you can fire it and all that good stuff. So if I actually go into an X-ray, like for example this, and then I can even slow that down to like 50% or like 10, we'll just try 10 times. And then if I fire it, you can see exactly how each part moves together. So this is like super helpful, because I honestly had no idea how this gun works. So this allowed me to go in and kind of like get an idea how it all worked together. So then you can go in and hide things. So if you don't want to see like the green X-ray view, yeah, so it's pretty sweet. Let's see here. So anyway, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are interested in guns, so I figured that's one of the reasons why I even did the AK-47, and then I saw how many views that got, so that inspired me to do the Glock model. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of this. Go back to Cinema 4D. And sorry if I sound super boring. I freaking have never done a stream before, so yeah, I'm not exactly the teaching type, but who knows? Maybe people enjoy this. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys just want to stick around, I'm gonna be showing how I go about modeling and just show why it takes so long when I'm doing things. I probably have about 140 hours so far in this model, going through and readjusting the geometry and getting materials correct and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's a ton of work. Oh, PC specs, I'm actually just using, believe it or not, a 2012 MacBook Pro, so definitely in need of an upgrade. I'm looking at some PCs, just Mac in general haven't been keeping up on their computer side of things. They like to focus on their mobile. So, but that's a whole different aspect. So I'm looking at a PC. I'll probably end up building my own. Looking at AMD Threadripper for a CPU just because it's super fast. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. But okay, so I'm just going to show you how I go about modeling, and I'm going to hide some parts just to make it easier to see. My recoil assembly, the bullet. Alright, so this is the perspective viewport, and it's got different viewports. You got your front viewport, bottom or top. I'm going to switch this to a top view. This is actually the bottom of the slide assembly. We're going to go to the right viewport. So I use the right viewport to kind of line everything up. I'm going to hide some more parts here. So I apologize. Right before the stream, I unhid all the parts so that you could kind of see everything. So I know there's probably a faster way to hide everything at once, but I'm kind of old school, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, here we have the barrel, and I have this button here to quickly hide so you can see through it to make sure the parts line up. So when I wish I could show you the model that came with it. Like this piece here is like way stretched down here and stuff. So anyway, yeah, I'm having to go through and fix some of the geometry in this area just to make it so it's correct. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll definitely make a video about my PC specs once I get that completed for sure. Let's see. Oh, what type of Cinema 4D I'm using? I'm using Cinema 4D, the studio license. It is the highest one because it has a lot of the MoGraph tools. So yeah, that's what I prefer. They have different packages. Actually, I can go ahead and show you guys the Maxon website if anyone's interested in the software. So this is the Maxon website, and Cinema 4D, and they just released actually last August of 2018 they released version 20, which has a ton of awesome features. The great thing about Cinema 4D is the intuitive interface and its ease of use. I really haven't used any other piece of 3D software that really matches. It's just super easy to pick up compared to like 3ds Max. I started with 3ds Max, and it's like so much better. Like you can customize the interface and all this stuff. And let's see here. They've got different versions of Cinema 4D. So there's Prime, Broadcast, Visualize, and Studio. I have Studio as it has just a few more features that really make it worth having. So yeah. So yeah, highly recommend this software. Definitely check into it. And they do have, I think it's a 30-day trial if anyone wants to check it out. Yeah, here we go. Oh, 42 days. Yeah, go onto their website, download a trial, and give it a shot. And there's like so many resources out there today, like on YouTube and everything else where you can learn about the software. So I mean, yeah. And if you want like a absolutely free piece of software, there's also Blender. Just show you here. This is the Blender website, blender.org. I haven't really used it much, but you know, I know a lot of people use this one too. So it's definitely capable at doing a lot of things Cinema 4D can do, but I do know that Cinema 4D has the edge as far as its ease of use. So yeah, so that's some 3D software, and there's other ones. There's Maya, there's 3ds Max. So anyway, yeah, I mean, you can use anything you want for doing 3D animation. So I'm gonna close. Whoops, don't want to close Chrome out completely. Let's see here. Oh, why not something from Adobe? Adobe actually doesn't sell any software that does 3D animation. I mean, they have After Effects, but that's not a full forged 3D program. It's more for like 2D animation type stuff. So explosion and muzzle flash. Yeah, I do actually. I did the muzzle flash and the like the smoke effects. I did that in After Effects, and I probably should have, for my first stream, showed, you know, the AK-47, maybe like a breakdown of it, and I guess I could, but let me see if I can open the AK animation here. I'm just going to open the AK-47 Cinema 4D file. Hey everybody, welcome to the freaking chat. Yes. Thank you so much for joining. This file's loading up. I apologize for the slowness. This is a 2012 computer, so it is a little dated, but I mean, that just shows that you can do any kind of animation on an old computer even. So I actually rendered the AK-47 animation on some other machines, and I didn't actually render the entire thing on my machine, so that would have taken forever. Okay, I apologize. This is trying to load here. Yeah, thanks a ton for the subscription for the AK-47 animation. It sounds like a lot of people subscribed after I released that video, so that, yeah, that's kind of what has inspired me to do more. Well, I'm having an issue with the file right now, as I have an upgraded version of Corona, the software I use to render the animation. So okay, it's finally loading here. I tried Octane once, but yeah, there's a ton of people using Octane. The render engine that I actually rendered the AK-47 animation is Corona. Here, I'll just show you guys what that is real quick too. Oh. All right. Bear with me here. All right, so this is Corona. It is a CPU-based renderer, but I would compare it to V-Ray if anyone's used V-Ray, but Corona is like way easier, but can like yield the same results as V-Ray. So a lot of people use it for interior renders. You can just kind of see like some of the crazy renders that people are making with this. Yeah, so that's an example of a render that you can pull out of V-Ray, or I mean Corona. So yeah, check that out. Anyway, so here's the AK-47 animation file. Let me just pull out. Cinema 4D has this system called takes, and I used it to set up my different scenes. So here's the main take of the model that I did. So for example, when I did the AK assemble, I switched it to take 2, and then if I just move my playhead here, that's where it all kind of came together. And then I rendered the title. When I had the title come in, I had that render on a completely different take. So I'll just show you that real quick. It'll switch over to title only. So that's when that came in, and then I kind of zoomed in here. Sweet, yeah. Originally when I did the title, I tried something different, like with some exploding text, but that looked pretty dumb. So I just went back to something simple like this. Let's see here. And then like at the beginning of the animation, when it kind of zooms in up close. Here, let me just pull it up real quick. One moment. Okay, yeah, see when all that comes together. And I did the title on a separate take on a completely different render because it was just easier to get like the blur in the background. I did the blur in After Effects after the fact. So when it comes in, it kind of fades through like that. I basically rendered 2 versions. One with the pieces hidden like this, and another with the pieces there, and then I just basically faded between the 2 compositions in After Effects. So yeah, and then it kind of come through, and I slowly animated all this together. But yeah, all this, like I highlighted the different parts in After Effects. And this, the wireframe pieces, that's a whole different, I can show you that animation a different time, because it took a lot to get that to work right. And then kind of went in, and the bullet kind of, you see the bullet disappear and some parts coming out. Here, let's see here. That was my bullet cutaway. Okay, it's loading here. Super slow. All the little pieces, like on here, all the little gunpowder pieces, those are separate objects, so it takes a lot to render for the viewport to update that. So I'm trying to I'll just kind of slowly go through. So yeah, these were each individual pieces, and it's trying to load here, but it's kind of chugging along. And I did like these 3 separate pieces, the anvil and the gunpowder and the paper. I thought it would look neat to have those come apart like that and then come back together, and the firing pin strikes the back there, and the little fire effect I did in After Effects. But I actually just found a green screen explosion and put that in front. Let's see here. And just kind of overlaid that in After Effects. So yeah, I added each of these is actually the same. Each of the little explosions, they're the same green screen effect, and I just kind of put them next to each other. That's why it looks like freaking crap. Anyway, so then I had the bullet leaving and kind of fades back out. And this actually I did in Cinema 4D. but the little smoke effect back here, that was After Effects. Let's see if I can show that. Yeah, maybe I will do some tutorials about showing how I did a lot of this. Because the live streaming, it's kind of like off the cuff, and I wasn't like super prepared. So yeah. Anyway, so that leaves, and then it kind of zooms back out. Let's show the Cutaway Gasses. This one, I believe. I haven't opened this file in a while, so bear with me. It's trying to, okay, there we go. So yeah, this one just kind of got your camera following the bullet here. Yeah, so in the animation, you see this little like fire looking effect. That was actually, let me see here, in Cinema 4D. It has what's called a tracer, and basically I had some geometry being copied out as the bullet moved. I'll have to do a tutorial about it because I'm not really prepared to explain it right now because I'm kind of dumb. Anyway, not really. So yeah, so that just kind of follows, and you see the geometry like ending here. But anyway, I know this isn't making sense whatsoever. So just, yeah, that's awesome. Let's see here. Then we go to the cutaway, the eject casing cutaway. Let this load. I'm sure if I had a fast PC, it'd be like pretty much instant. So oh yeah, so I'll just show you kind of what happens in the original animation. And these pieces all highlight. I did that within After Effects. Yeah, this is this section here. And like you see, as the casing gets ejected, the little smoke effect on the end of the casing. That was all After Effects. And I used trap code particular. Well, it's really Red Giant particular. And I probably should have showed this in the animation more, but like I actually modeled like the entire piece to spec. Here. I know I'm not doing the best job explaining this, but yeah, so that's kind of how that worked. And I actually indented the primer, and I'm sure it's probably not supposed to be that much indented, but whatever. No one seemed to say anything about it. So yeah, it just took a long time to get like everything to line up perfectly and all that good stuff. I can actually go into the model a little bit more here to show you like the detail that I went to make everything. Hide my receiver and the sight block. Yeah, so the bolt, I modeled like all the little grooves and everything. So like everything fits together like almost perfectly. And then I've got like these little sliders here to, like as this moves back, the bolt actually rotates. And I set that all up through this thing called Espresso in Cinema 4D. It's this. So basically I can say like if it moves back a certain position or a certain value, it'll also rotate you know, a certain value. So I don't know, it's just super powerful, so that's pretty cool. And how that rotates, actually, when this bolt carrier moves back, there's a little channel that this nub sits in. So let me see here. Oh, sorry, it's not really working the way. So yeah, that you can see like right here, when this bolt carrier moves back, it rotates the bolt like that, and then it pulls it back, and that's how the bullet casing gets pulled back and ejected. And how it gets ejected from the receiver, let me see, where is it? So just imagine the bullets sitting at the end of this piece here. This little notch in the receiver, this is the bullet casing hits this, and that's what flings it out of the, ejects it out of the receiver. So yeah, I probably should explain that a little better in the video, but you know, what can you do? I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of people were talking about inside the AK-47, the, I don't know what it's called, the spiral. Like, I don't know anything really about guns, so I'm sure I'm using like a lot of the wrong words here. Trying to find my pieces. Yeah, like I didn't illustrate the, I don't know the word. Anyway, when the bullet goes through it, it's got some spin on it, and that's what helps with its trajectory, I guess. So I didn't model that or show that at all, so I wish I would have done that. And then in the animation, I talk about how the bullet strikes the, here, let me get to it here. Okay, so a big mistake I made is the firing pin punctures the bullet primer, but it doesn't actually puncture it. It just strikes it. If it punctured it, there'd be an explosion, and that wouldn't be good. So anyway, I know a lot of people gave me crap for that, but anyway. All right, so where are we at here? Anyone got any questions about the AK-47 animation? I'd be happy to answer them. No, I don't use Blender. Someone asked me. I use Cinema 4D. The mechanics for the gunshot and reload. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I was telling people earlier the way I learned how the AK-47 worked is I use a program called World of Guns, and you can actually get it on Steam. It's called World of Guns Disassembly. Let me fire it up here, and I can show you guys the AK-47 version of that. Give me a minute. All right, so here is World of Guns. And they like break down and show you how to, and show how a whole bunch of different guns work. So it's pretty cool. Here's the AK. All right, just give it a minute to load here. Yeah, so this is how I learned how this worked. You can do x-rays in here, and you can slow it down so when you actually fire it, you can see how all the parts move together. So, yeah, I'm no gun expert, that's for sure, so I just use this to figure out how everything moved together, and it's pretty dang accurate, I think, so. You can slow it down, and then you can fire it, and use this slider down here to like go back and forth. I will be right back. I have to end the stream for a second, but I gotta take a call and I'll be right back. Bear with me. Hello? Yeah. Good. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, you guys. Had to take a phone call and it was really important. Is it working? Just want to make sure people are seeing this. I'm not sure anyone's able to see my stream right now, so okay, yeah, it looks like we're back here. Sorry about that, everyone. I had to take a very important phone call, so we're back. Anyway, does anyone have any other questions about how I did the AK-47 animation? Yeah, so I guess not. So I was just gonna go through and show how I'm currently working on the Glock animation, if anyone is interested. I think my stream might be not working properly. Okay, good, yeah. Grease gun. I could do a grease gun, I guess. That'd be pretty easy to do. But I'm still working on my Glock, so I'd like to finish that first. I've been playing a lot of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, if anyone knows what that is, PUBG. So I gotta stop playing that and actually get to work here. But, yeah. So, alright. Let me switch back to my Glock. I'm gonna close these out. Close this one. Okay, yep, here we are. Alright, so I was just letting you guys know that I was working on the barrel and everything has to line up properly or it's not gonna work properly when I go to animate, so. And I just want to apologize again for my super boring voice. I'm not a teacher of any sorts. So just bear with me. Yeah. Alright, so I was just saying a little bit ago that I use these different viewports when I'm modeling. So for example, this is the right viewport. And this is how I line up all my geometry. So it looks like my barrel is not high enough. So I'm just gonna, I think that'll be okay though. It's not a huge deal, but back here I'm kind of worried about this bit here. So you can see I basically modeled, I modeled half this and I'm just gonna mirror it. So I only have to model one side because it'd be very tedious to keep working on both sides. I need to figure out why it's intersecting right here, or these. I got this extra bit of geometry, so I'm going to select these polys and just do a simple cut like that. And then you can see my cut line. And I'd probably be doing things a little bit differently if I weren't streaming. But yeah, I just get nervous and I don't really know what to say. So yeah, just bear with me here. So then I'm going to pull these vertices back because it's supposed to be almost flush here, I see. Let's see here. And you want everything to be smooth, because if it's not smooth, it just doesn't look good. And that's kind of what I go for, is accuracy in my animation, and I just want everything to look right so that people aren't like bashing me when it comes to the final video. Oh, P90. Yeah, I've had a few people request the P90 and machine gun, or not machine gun, but machine guns also. Yep, Cinema 4D. It's from Maxon. What else should I do here? So we have these two vertices here. I'm going to weld this one together and do another cut. And when you're doing 3D modeling, it's generally not good practice to have a triangle polygon like this, because when you go to apply the subdivision surface to smooth it out like this, usually you'll get some like weird stretching going on and some pinching with the geometry. So I try to keep everything I can in quads, which is a 4-sided polygon. How often do I stream? This is my very first stream, so you probably imagine I know that it freaking sucks. But anyway, just bear with it. Maybe it'll get better the more I do, but who knows. Yeah, this is a Glock 19. Here, let me just show you some of the renders that I did with it. So I originally bought the 3D model on Turbo Squid, and this is what it looks like when you do the final render. So it looks pretty cool. It's pretty accurate. I can even show you the model. So Turbo Squid is just a website that you can go to, and they sell a whole bunch of different models. So basically I just went in here and searched for Glock 19, and I found, I think it was this one. Yep, so here's the 3D model that I bought, and none of the actual interior is modeled. It's modeled like really roughly, but not enough to do like a full inner working of each piece. So that's where I had to go in and kind of reconstruct everything. So yeah, I bought this, and I've been just basically tearing it apart like from top to bottom. I'm gonna have to retexture everything. Let's see here. I'll close that out. Hold on, I'm having some issues here. All right, so back to the model here. So yeah, like I said, I want to make this a 4-sided polygon. So I'm basically gonna make a cut like this, and then just get rid of this edge. So then, yeah, now we have a 4-sided polygon, and that's gonna help with your stretching. And there won't be any like pinching and stretching with your model. So also, if you guys wanted to check out some of my other work, feel free to check out my website. Just doing a little shout out here. It's mattrittman.com. So when it first loads, it shows a bunch of thumbnails of a lot of the different things I've done. Some stills. Some of this is kind of old, so yeah, sorry about that. Like this protein bottle I modeled, this took a while, but Everything was, it was a challenge that I did, but like it's all quad polygons. So anyway, no one cares about this. This is the back of my house. I did a 3D model of it, and this is just some 3D models. It's not me or my wife. So I was just doing an exterior render. I know it kind of sucks, like the grass looks fake, but that was my first like real exterior render. So I modeled a MacBook Pro. What else? Feel free to check out my reel. And it's got like some of my different works on here. Oop. Sorry about that. I did a bowling alley. Let's see what else. I used to work for KCCI 8 News. Did some stuff for them. So anyway, yeah, you can check that out. And I've got a blog. You guys can follow my blog. Sometimes I come out with different tutorials. I generally like to write tutorials rather than doing like a video because my voice sucks so bad. So I did a tutorial on Substance Painter, and this is a texturing program, and this is what I'm going to be using for when I actually do my Glock. So I wrote a little tutorial here just to kind of show up how you set up your materials and how you can paint on, you know, get your scratches and some wear on the model. So I've been doing some tests with that. So yeah, it's just a ton of work. Yeah, got a website, no Discord channel, but you know, maybe that's something I could set up in the future. But yeah, check out my website. What else? Got an about page. I won some awards, so that's pretty neat. I'm pretty famous. Anyway, no one cares about that. So back to modeling. No, I'm actually from Des Moines, Iowa, so anyone interested? My next live stream, let's see here. I don't know. I'm thinking about setting up like some kind of tutorial related to a certain thing about like how I did like on the AK animation. I could do a live stream about how I did like this, the wireframe of the bolt carrier, you know, or something like that, or even like how I did the texture work for everything. So that would be a completely different live stream, I think. So this first live stream is just kind of the first go at it and test it out and see what people think. So, yep. So yeah, just continue this. I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but all right. So yeah, I'm just trying to get these to line up. This is why it takes so long, because I'm like very tedious as far as how everything lines up. Get all my vertices lining up straight, and so yeah, that's looking better here. I don't know what's going on with this dark. Oh, that's this piece. Looks like we have some intersecting geometry here with this. I'll pull this back. So there we go. And yeah, see, we have some triangle polygons. We don't like that, so I'm just gonna pull that away. And there we go. That's actually a four-sided polygon. I'm gonna pull this down and back. Oh, thank you very much for your kind comments about my stream. Yeah, I'm sure they would get better as far as like my you know, just being more interesting and things like that. But first stream, I don't really know. I didn't really prepare very well, so just trying to go at it here. Let's see. So there's some actual, like on the actual barrel, there's this kind of curves in a little bit here, and I'll need to use a reference. So I'm gonna pull up World of Guns again. So this is what I do. I go back, go to exit. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, go back here. I'm gonna find the Glock. And there's a ton of guns in here, guys. Like, if anyone's interested in how these guns work, there's like a whole bunch. It's really interesting to just kind of know how these work. Yeah, I don't actually own any guns. I really enjoy showing how mechanical things work and how, you know, how all that works together and how the parts move. So anyway, here's the Glock. I'm gonna go to operation. And for the barrel, I'm gonna hide some of these parts. And this is the area that I'm working at right here. So it kind of curves in here. And that can get kind of tricky when it comes to modeling. So let's see. Hey Joe, how's it going? We have a good start, I think, for this. Yeah, see how this, when you have like these edges that are close together like this, it helps to kind of define. Basically, when I'm modeling, you start with a low poly version like this, and then when you go to finalize the geometry, you apply this subdivision surface modifier. Like if I turn this on, everything gets smoothed out, as you can see. Let me just turn off the lines here. So I need to actually shape this a little bit better. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. And you can see it looks a lot better when it's smooth, as opposed to when I turn off the subdivision surface. Like this low poly version might be like a 3D model they'd use in a video game, because video games rely on lower geometry in order to run quicker. But when it comes to animation, the final you'd want to use this high poly version. No, I don't know, Joe. He just said hi in the chat, so I was like, hi. Sorry if that was confusing. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pull this back. And it looks like this curves in a lot more than it does. Okay, I'm trying to pull up my World of Guns here. Yeah, so this is like a lot more recessed, I think. So it needs to be like, well, I don't know, because this up here. I apologize. Oh yeah, see, it kind of like really dips back in here. So I'm gonna hide some more pieces. And I wish that you could turn off like this ghosting of the parts in World of Guns, because they kind of get in the way. But yeah, I see what's going on here now. You can even go inside the pieces. Hide the bullet. Yeah, see, it's actually got this curve here, and that didn't show up in the actual model that I bought. So I'm just gonna do this. All right. Yeah, see, this is just like a straight across dust. Let me see here. Yeah, so not super interesting, but if anyone's interested. Okay, I'm going to select all these polygons and I'm going to do a cut in here, a line cut. Just pull this back and I'm going to cut here, I think. This is going to take a ton of work to get it right, I think. But it looks like these back pieces of geometry need to be pushed like back here, and so on and so forth for the side, and kind of curve it out. That's what it's looking like with this. See how it's got this curve here? So that's kind of what I'm aiming for, I think. Gonna pull these up. Sorry, I'd probably be working a little bit faster if I wasn't streaming, but I'm just kind of nervous and not like really knowing what I'm doing and stuff like that. Well, I know what I'm doing, okay, but I'm just, when you got people watching, it's a little bit different. Yeah, see how I've got this triangular polygon? You don't want those, so I'm gonna actually cut it. How do I want to do that? Like this, and then I'm going to remove this edge so that we have four-sided polygons. Because when you have four-sided polygons, things are just a lot smoother. Not sure that I like how that's going, but what am I doing? I'm just showing some modeling techniques, and I know I'm not doing the best job, but my next animation shows how a Glock works. If anyone's interested, let me just pull up the first Glock file. One moment, it's loading. Yeah, it's very complicated. I put a ton of hours into these things, so that's another reason why the Glock is taking so long. And on top of that, I also had a full-time job in broadcasting, but now that I'm doing this freelance full-time, I'm gonna have a lot more time to actually finish this thing. So let me just turn off my textures so you can see it. So yeah, this is the model I'm going after, and this is the model that I bought on Turbo Squid. Doesn't have any of the interior built, so it's got it, but it's not right. Like, it's just all like just a kind of a hodgepodge, because it's meant to just kind of display the exterior of the gun and not any of the interior workings of it. Let me actually just do a little like 3D render to show you guys like what it looks like when you render this out per frame. So just gonna get like a view like this. So when you go to render it, you push this button, render, and then down here it's gonna do some calculations. Just wait for it to load here. I'm using a 2012 MacBook Pro, so it's a little on the slow side, and I'm saving up for a PC, and I'm gonna get that built eventually, but this is where I'm at right now. So on my computer, it would actually take this long to render per frame. Like, this will probably count up to like 8 minutes, and that would be one frame of animation. And animation, you have 30 frames per second of animation, so you can imagine that's a ton of frames. Like, just think like 2,000 frames times, you know, 8 minutes. That would take forever to render. So I actually rendered it with a render farm, and that like is a whole bunch of computers. It's a service that you use to render, so you're not actually using your own machine to render, and it's like way faster. New PC specs. I'm looking at getting, oh, I'm having some errors here. So see how it's finally showing the image of what it looks like. And I'm using Corona. It's a third-party renderer. Right now it's in beta, so it's free, but eventually it will be sold. So yeah, it's on pass 3, and I'd generally probably let that go up to like 15 to 20, and then it's gonna kind of it'll keep refining this image and get sharper and sharper and look better and better. But so yeah, that's what it kind of looks like when it's rendered. And that would just be one frame, like I said, of animation, and there's probably like 5,000 frames total. So you can imagine that taking a long time. Yeah, anyway, for PC specs, I'm looking at getting a AMD Threadripper CPU. It basically has, it's 32 core, 64 threads. So it's going to be super fast. Really helped me to show these images a lot quicker, so it'll help with production. So yeah, that's how you render. So yeah, just working on this barrel here. I know I'm all over the place, so sorry about that. And I don't know if these actually go back this far, but if anyone's interested, Cinema 4D, there's a free 42-day trial on their website. Check it out, maxon.net. Little shout out to them. Yeah, it looks like this kind of starts curving in here, like way up here. I'm actually going to do it from this side. So I basically need to build a curve in here. So I select the polygons where I want to cut, and then I hit K on my keyboard for cutting, and K again to select the cut tool. Oh yeah, got some triangles in there. So yeah, if you just go like this, that makes a line cut. And you can see here, this is why it takes so long, because you have to fix these triangles, or when you go to smooth it out, as I'll show you here, see how you get this pinching with triangles, and you don't want that because it shows up like with your textures and stuff when you're going to do your texture work. Let me see here. So yeah, you can just kind of weld these vertices together, and but then you got another one, and it's like, well, now my curve's messed up. So it's just like, it just takes forever. I don't know if I want to go through and like show this entire process on a live stream because it just takes so long. Rifling, yes, that's the word I was looking for earlier when I was talking about the AK. You got that spiral. Like for instance, if you go to the Glock website here, let me just pull it up. I think it shows on here. So on their website, they even have kind of like a little breakdown of how the safety works. I think they showed a little screen grab of the rifling. Not real sure. Here, I have a little document I can show quick. Let me see. Just trying to find the document. Got this guide I found on their website. Yeah, right here. See, you can kind of see the rifling. Haven't really figured out how if I'm gonna actually model that or just use a texture for that. But I'd like to definitely show the rifling in the next animation because I was criticized on the AK for not having that in the cutaway. So yeah, I went to college, yes, but actually a lot of this I learned just on my own time. I grew up doing 3D animation or like 3D modeling and animation. I started with 3D Studio Max, and now Now I'm with Cinema 4D just because of the ease of use interface here. Yep. Modeling. There's like so many tutorials out there, guys. Like for instance, let's see here. Let me pull up a site like that would help you guys. I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Like Linda, there's Linda. Oh, I'm trying to think of this other website. Okay, here. Actually, a really good resource for 3D modeling in Cinema 4D. What was it called? Dang it. Having a little brain fart here. Okay, it's called Making It Look Great. This guy does an absolutely phenomenal job at explaining modeling, and he goes through and he actually shows how to do like certain parts. So yeah, it's 130 bucks, super affordable. And he goes through and like talks about like your edge flow and all this stuff. So I would highly recommend Making It Look Great 11 if you're wanting to get into modeling for Cinema 4D. Really can't stress this enough. So yeah, Grayscale Gorilla and Cineversity is awesome too. I forgot all about that. Jeez. And there's definitely a ton of helpful people on Cineversity. To use Cineversity, you do need to purchase a subscription. Yeah, there's tons of tutorials on here. Like, and just tons of stuff on there. So definitely recommend that as well. I probably need to go back and watch some of these videos myself because I'll have a little more time with it. So yeah, I lost my job in December, so I'm looking to push working on my YouTube full time. So I'm actually pretty excited about that, even though my voice is the worst voice ever. So what can you do? So right now I'm just trying to get this curve right on the inside of the barrel here, because on the actual barrel it kind of curves in like this. You can see it. Sort of. I know this ghosting kind of makes things more difficult, but alright. So I'm just gonna kind of continue welding these vertices, and you see that I'm getting this line here. Like this. And that's kind of what we're going for. Yeah, just like this. Oops. So as you can see, this can end up taking a long time when you're trying to like get everything to look how it should be, like proportionate, and it's just very tedious. But I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I know it doesn't look fun now, but I really enjoy it. I'll just show you. I'm here 1 second. Watching because my ability to explain stuff. Yeah, right. Okay. Yes, the AK-47 animation. It sounds like a lot of people came here from that. So yeah, here's the outside of the Glock. And I have to go through and make sure all these little pieces fit together and work properly. So it's just very tedious. But like I said, I've got like this, everything set up on these sliders to make animation a lot easier. Yeah, I'm not going to go through and unhide all those parts again because It's just very tedious. I don't know, anything else? I'm probably going to end the stream here because no one really wants to watch me model this stuff because I'm terrible at doing it live. Oh, the Rotary Engine, awesome. Yeah, I did that one actually when I was in school. Let me just pull that up here. Rotary Engine. So yeah, I did this one 10 years ago now. Holy crap, I'm old. So that's awesome. Yeah, modeled this the same way. Just kind of looked at reference images on Google and modeled all the pieces together. And yep, so that was fun. What else? All right, so looks like a lot of people in the chat are saying to turn this off because I'm super boring. So yeah, not really, but anyone play PUBG? PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds for Xbox. I've been playing that a lot, and they do have an AK-47 in there, and that's a pretty sweet gun. But anyway, I know that's retarded. Okay, so this needs to actually be pulled back, and this piece needs to be pulled back. Gosh, it's gonna take some time, that's for sure. Probably need to remove some of these edges so it's easier to work with. PUBG Mobile, yeah. I played a little PUBG Mobile on my phone. I'm not going to do any of the modeling on this side because what I'm going to end up doing is just mirroring the geometry over. So I don't have to do things twice, basically. So I'm actually going to delete all this for now. Because sometimes it's easier to work with when you're only seeing one side of it. But I'm actually gonna hide my frame as well. Okay. Steam ID. I don't play the PC version of PUBG because my PC or my computer is a MacBook Pro and it sucks. But eventually I will get a PC. I'm going to build a PC and I'll be playing on there. So, model from, no, I use a lot of reference images when I'm modeling. So like, for example, you see this barrel here. So when I switch to a side viewport, I'll line that up here. And let me see here, do the X-ray, so then you can see through to match up all your vertices. And you'll see here, this model I actually originally purchased it on Turbo Squid, so that's why things aren't lining up. So I'm just going through and kind of fixing everything to make sure that everything fits together perfectly. So yeah, I'm not using like any real world numbers or anything like that, like actual dimensions. Everything's from reference images. So and there's probably quicker ways to create some of these objects, like with SolidWorks or like AutoCAD or something, but I really have no idea how to use those pieces of software. And I don't know, I just love messing with geometry this way, I guess. Maybe I'm old school. Yeah, if anyone's interested in learning modeling, I would highly suggest making it look great 11. Let me just pull it up here. Yeah, so 3D modeling. This is Cinema 4D for Cinema 4D, but like this guy goes into great detail about how to like, even like from the simplest polygons, he'll go through and show you how to fix geometry and all this good stuff. Let me see if there's a different video. Yeah, just I'd highly suggest using checking out Making It Look Grade 11, because he goes through some really extensive training. So yeah, how do I make it work in the end? I can show you how I did the AK-47 again. I can pull that up if anyone's interested. I could make my own online course, but people would probably criticize me for how boring it is. Here, I'm just going to save a new version of this file. And open the AK-47. Okay, give me a minute here. It's throwing an error. Alright. It's not boring? Okay, well that's kind of good to hear. Alright. This is taking a little longer to load. Oh, here we go. Okay. So that, yeah, for the AK-47 animation, Cinema 4D has this thing called the take system, and it's basically different scene files that I used. Let me see. Let me just pull up the AK-47 animation just to show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, yeah, for example, like these, the beginning of the animation when it shows all these pieces coming together, well, it's not playing smoothly because I'm trying to record my screen at the same time. So you got all these pieces coming together like this. In Cinema 4D, this take system allows you to set up different scenes. So that was a good example, but anyway, like the AK assemble scene when all the pieces are finally coming together and it's like, whoosh, and it zooms out and you see the title. Let me just show you that. Yeah, so you see that there and it zooms in. I did that with these different takes here. Show the bullet cutaway casing. Yeah, okay. It's pretty slow. As I said, I'm streaming at the same time, so yeah, then there's that scene where you see the bullet moving through. So yeah, just a ton of work, and like I have to animate where the camera's looking and, you know, how the light is reflecting off the different objects, make sure it all looks good. Like for example, the camera, if I toggle this button, it takes me to the view of not showing the camera. Let me show this view. So yeah, so here you'd see the camera moving with the bullet. So, you know, you got to think about all these things when you're animating. It's just, but you know, it's a ton of fun when you get to the final product and people like your stuff. It's pretty inspiring, I guess. So, how do I set up my blueprints properly? Yeah, actually I do. I set up my blueprints with different views of the AK. Let me see here. Where is it? Oh, I think it's in a different scene here. Let me see if I can open it. Let's see here, build files. We'll just go to this one, yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, okay. So I actually import my images in. So like front's fine. I found this on Google Images. Just did a search of AK-47. Let me see if I can find a better one. Oh yeah, I like this one. Kind of use that. So it's just a plane with an image texture on it. And like if we go into my right viewport, you can see how I lined everything up. Like the receiver here. This image I used, it's actually not the final one that I ended up using. Oh, I see, okay. I haven't opened this project in a while, so I apologize if I'm not... okay. Yeah, so that one. I think this is the one I used for the actual model, aka model that I used. So that's how I line up all that. And like as far as the interior goes, because you know you don't actually see any of this interior on a flat image, I used a piece of software called World of Guns, and that's what this is. It's free. It's on Steam. You can download it. It's called World of Guns Disassembly. Let's see if I exit here. It's gonna show you guys real quick again. If I go back, it's got all these different guns that show how they work. So for like the AK, I went in here and went to operation. And it loads. So then like I can see what the inside actually looks like if I like hide some of these parts. Yeah, it's pretty cool and it's free, so so like yeah, if I go back to my model, that's how I would kind of just rough in where things are. And then what takes so long is actually making sure all the pieces fit together and move properly when they touch each other. So yeah, it's just a very time-consuming process. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to end it here, but does anyone have any other questions about how I model or anything like that? Oh, how do I line it up? So, like for the Glock model, let me just show you. Like I found these reference images, like the right image here, and then okay. Well, I will say for the Glock model, I actually purchased it on TurboSquid, but I'm having to refine it. But like for the AK-47, you'll have the right side, and then like for the top, let me see, front, back. So like there's the back and there's the front. So like when I actually switch to some of these other viewports, like the front view, you can kind of see how I would line up the vertices and stuff like that. So no, this isn't the best example right off the cuff here. So this is Cinema 4D for anyone wondering. Let me see if I can open a different model to show you how I did a car model, and I can show you how I lined up the viewport reference images. Let me see here, one moment. Just trying to find my 350Z model. Okay, here we go. Okay, so yeah, this is a car model that I'm already working on. Also working on. Let me see if I can. For this one, I believe I used, yeah. So I found these reference images on the blueprints.com. Yeah. You might know what this website is, the blueprints.com. I believe I found the 350Z on here. So you can go on here and download blueprints for cars. So yeah, like for instance, the back view. I would go into my display options and configure, and then if you go to back, you can actually insert an image in here. And then yeah, that's how you'd line it up. But as far as like making sure the sizing of the blueprints are correct, you've got to make sure. Here, let me see if I can find the image. One moment. I'm just trying to find the reference images I used. And I'm not seeing them. Where is it? Honda. I can open my Honda Prelude one as well. Okay. Yeah, for instance, like I also modeled a Honda Prelude, and you got your front, top, back. And these all need to be like this. Like if the height of the side is like 350 pixels, then the front also needs to be 350 pixels. So you just have to make sure all that works together. Grands of dollars to make a good animation. No, actually, there's even a software called Blender, and it's absolutely free, and a lot of people use it. So you can definitely use Blender to create animation. So it's all about telling the story and telling it in a way that people enjoy it. So, and like I tried to, like when I did my AK animation, I tried to explain it in a way that it was easily understandable for people. So oh yeah, the textures, I used Corona render. Like here, let me just, I can show you how I do a texture real quick. How about that? Yes, let's do that. So I would create a plane. I'll just show how I do a simple metal material. I'll go offline here in a minute. I know I keep saying I will, but so I go down to Corona, create a new material. I'm just going to use white for the floor. Then I'll create a new material, and this will be the chrome. I create a sphere, move it up. Turn up my segments so it's nice and smooth. Apply this to the sphere. Open my material settings. I'm actually going to turn off the diffuse. That's like the overall color of the material, but it's just going to have a reflection, like a mirror. So if I turn off diffuse, it'll be completely black. But if I turn on reflection, it's going to show like a black glossiness. And I'm not the best at explaining like some of these terms like IOR, index of refraction, but I just know that if I crank this to 10, then it's already going to look like chrome. So, and it doesn't reflect that in the viewport, but when you actually go to render it, you'll see what I mean here. So I need to switch my render to Corona. And Corona is free right now for Cinema 4D, but eventually it'll be, I can't remember what it costs, but you can check it out on their website. So right now, if I were to go to render, you won't see anything. It'll be black because there's nothing in the scene that's lighting it, or there's no reflections. So I need to add a light. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Corona, add a light. And here's my light. And it's going to make it long, like a long strip of light. And I'm going to turn down my intensity of it. Turn off the visibility. And then if I hit render, you'll see there it is. Here, let me make it easier to see here. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty slow on my machine, but like I said, I'm going to be building my own PC, so and there you have it. Get a better view of it. Here, and actually Corona has this feature called interactive rendering, so it's a little bit quicker. You can actually move around and it shows in real time. It kind of updates in real time how the textures will look. So if I want to do glass, it's like super easy. Let me show you. Let me turn my light up a little bit so it's a little bit brighter. So in my materials settings, keep on reflection, but just turn on refraction. And then it's going to update here. I'm going to turn my reflection down a bit. I'm actually going to turn off the interactive rendering because it's trying to update at the same time, and it's just, it can be a little slow. So now if I render it out, I mean, pretty much that's it. There you have glass. Yeah, and then you can change the color of the glass by, you know, just adjusting your different color sliders here. And then you have a red glass. Change this to 1. If I change it to 1, there's like no refraction at all. So, but that's not how real glass works. Then, yeah, what else could I do? So yeah, just like super easy to get like the material that you want quick, because it already calculates, you know, the bouncing of light on your surfaces like this, and as it continues to render, it's only on pass 2, but it'd probably go up to like 20. Past 20, like all this would be fairly smooth at that point. So yeah, that's how you do materials with Corona. Anyway, guys, hopefully this was entertaining. I don't know, some people probably thought it sucked, but yeah. I'll probably do a tutorial about how I create certain materials. Like I'll go through and do a whole tutorial on that, like metals, wood, glass, you know, I'll go through all that stuff. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will talk to you next time. And feel free to contact me on Twitter or through my website, mattrittman.com. Anyway, thanks again. Later, guys.